Good day, my viewers all over the world. I remain Salumaj. Today, we're talking about bearing and distances in mathematics. Bearing and distances. In my last lecture, I spoke about elevation and depression. Under it, I talked about SOHCAHTOA Pythagoras theorem. Here, we'll be talking about something new again, like cosine rule, sine rule. But first, let's understand the principle behind bearing and distances. So we are talking about bearing and distances. It's just talking about position with angle at a particular time. Maybe by the time I start talking about longitude and latitude, you understand our position in the space. Yeah. So bearing and distances. There are two methods you could use in solving bearing and distances. Number one, I call it the military method, and number two, I call it the surveyor method. The military method, and number two, the surveyor method. Before you apply any method, what do you want to even talk about in bearing and distances? Yeah, let me draw a quadrant. In mathematics, you call this one to be the first quadrant. This is second quadrant, third quadrant, and this is what? Fourth quadrant. So there are two ways in which you can move. It's either you move in this direction or you move in this direction. So direction will now determine what you want to talk about under bearing and distances. There I've written out the quadrants here. From here to here is 90 degrees because we have line of these lines are perpendicular to each other. This line is perpendicular to this. From here down to this place is 90 degrees. From here down to this place is 90 degrees. From here to this place 90 degrees, and from here back to this place 90 degrees. If you go in a clockwise direction, if you go in anti-clockwise direction, from here to here is 90 degrees, from here to here is 90 degrees, from here to here 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Everything forming having an angle at a point. That the angle at a point is now equal to what? 360. Because by the time you add 90 to 90 to 90 to 90, you have four 90s, sum it together, you're going to have 360 degrees. So here in bearing and distances, somebody can be moving from one point to another, but the person will be changing in direction. Then you now be asked to calculate the bearing of that person from the initial position to the nail place, then the distance covered by that person. So I said this is first quadrant, this is second quadrant, third quadrant, fourth quadrant. Then you go to your geography, you say this is what? Your north pole. This is your what? Your south pole. This is your what? Your east pole. And this is your what? Your west pole. So that you now have the northeast, the southeast, the southwest, and the what? The northwest. So these are the things we are going to be discussing. So we're going to be sorry, this is east, and this is our west. So this is what we're going to be discussing under bearing and distances. So let me now give us a movement. The same quadrant I want to withdraw again. Let's this your quadrants. A boy is moving from the North Pole. All readings in bearing starts from the North Pole, and it has to be in a clockwise direction. Like I said that a man moves on a bearing of a man moves on a bearing of 40 degrees. Your reading must start from what? North. From north is what? 0. So from here to here is 90. I can say a man moves on a bearing of 40 degrees. A man moves on a bearing of 40 degrees. Meaning that the person has moved from here down to this place. Just an imaginary angle. So from the zero, they draw out a line. So they mean that the man has moved from here to another point. Let's say point B. This is point A. A man moved from point A to point B on a bearing of what? 40 degrees. A man moves from point A to point B on a bearing of what? 40 degrees. They can ask you that what is the bearing of B from A? Look at it. A from B. A, this is A from B is what? Or they can say calculate B from A, because this is what they always ask in your exam. A from A, A from B, or B from A. Now the man has moved from what I call it, point A to point B on a bearing of 40 degrees. When this man gets to another position, you know he left this place. On get to another position, you must draw another quadrant. You must draw another quadrant so that such that this line will be parallel to this and this line will be parallel to this. So this line of his movement will now be what? The transversal line. You know I spoke about transversal line when I was explaining elevation and depression. The same way here you have a transversal line. Here when you are just writing only the angle without showing whether it is south, maybe the south 40-degree west or south 40-degree east. If you are just writing just 40 degrees, this is what? Military method. But if you are now showing whether it is southwest, whether it is northwest, that is what? The surveyor method. But I will explain this why I'm trying to do justice to this. So he said the man moved from A to B on a bearing of what? 40 degrees. If you now look at it, I said A from B. That is, you go to B, A from B, B from A. This is B from A is what? 40 degrees. Then you now say what is the bearing of A from B? That is A from the north of B down to the line coming from A. Let me repeat, but this is where students normally make mistake. They will just be that if a man move from A from B is equal to 40 degrees. What is B from A? What they are telling you there is that if this man has moved from A to B on a bearing of 40 degrees, then what will now be the bearing of B from A? Then you have to go to the north of B. You now draw an arc that will extend from the north of B, then touching this back. That is what? B from A from B, A from B is what? B from A is what we will first do. B from A is 40 degrees. Then A from B is now from this north of B to the line touching A. Though I will explain this over and over so that you can understand, or you can watch the video over and over, you get the logic. So if this one is 40 degrees, look at this. You can extrapolate this, you can make it bolder so you know what you are doing. If this place is 40 degrees, look at this is 40 degrees. And I told us that this is what? A transversal line. This is a transversal line. This line is parallel to this. Or you say this line is parallel to this line. So if this one is 40 degrees, definitely this will also be what? 40 degrees, because they are what? Alternate angles. They are alternate angles. So it means that A from the north of B to this point is what? 90 degrees. From this point to this point is another 90 degrees. Then B from A will now be what? Sorry, A from B will now be from here to this point. So you have already got it that from here to this point is 180. Then you add this 40 degrees to it. It will now be A from B will now be equal to what? 90 plus 90 plus 40 degrees, which is equal to what? 90 plus 90, 180. That is 220 degrees. In your option, they will put 40 degrees. They will put 80 degrees. They will put 320 degrees. But they know that some they want to do to the answer. They will just deduct 360 from 40 and get 320. So, but if you understand what you are doing, you will know that A from B is what 220 degrees, like this. So let me give you another one to try. Let me give us another one. This is just introduction to bearing and distance. It's very simple. So let's say a man or let's say a sheep sails from point P to point Q on a bearing of 130 degrees. What is A? What is Q? Then that's what is the bearing of, okay, say from point P to point Q on a bearing of 130. Then what is the bearing of A from Q from A, what's the bearing of P from Q? P from Q. How do we draw this? Like I told us, anytime you have any question in mathematics, write out the preambles. That one will guide what you are doing. So like what we have here now, we have a shifting from point P to point Q. It means that I have to first draw my first point. This is point P. A ship sails from point P to point Q on a bearing of 130 degrees. Then you come to the north of P and reach from here to here 90. So it means that from 90 you move down to 130. It means that 130 is going to be here, but 130 is not up to 180. So you draw out your line. So it means your point Q will be here. So from here to here is 130 degrees. And meanwhile, I told us always be finding a way of separating all these angles. They will just give you the broad angle that you have to find out, okay, this one is alternate to this. How do I separate this from this? Like what I want to do here now. From here to here, they give it to 130 degrees. I need to know from here to here so that I can be able to determine from here to here. Now they said, what is P from Q? Then I have to go to the north of Q, because that's the question. What is the bearing of P from Q? They have given me Q from P is equal to 130 degrees. The question says, what is P from Q? So for me to get P from Q, I'll go to the north of Q. Go to the north of Q, then draw a line that will move from the north of this Q. You know you have drawn from here to get this one. I want to now know P from Q. It will be from the north of Q to the line coming from P. So for me to now determine this, look at this. By default, you know that from here to here is 90. From here down to this place 180. Down to this place, because this thing is still extended, down to this place 270. What we now need to determine is this small part, and the only way we can get this small part is by comparing this place to this place. So how do I get this small part? I have to subtract this from 90. If I subtract 90 from 130, this place is going to be what? 40 degrees. So the remaining one will be what? 90. So 90 plus 40 will give you back by 130. So 40 is alternate to this point. So this point is what? 40 degrees. And I already know that from here down to this place is 270. So for me to now determine P from Q will now be equal to, from here to here, 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 40 degrees. That will now be 90 plus 90. That's This 270 plus 40, that is equal to 310 Q. So from here down to this point is now 310 Q. I think that should be clear enough. So let me stop on this on our bearing and distance. In our next class, I will also further my explanation on this. Please, if you are not subscribed to our channel, kindly do so. I remain Sir Lumaj. I love you guys. Thank you very much for encouraging me. Share to others. If you are in SS1, if you are in SS2, this is very, very, very important. Please, the foundation of a building, the foundation of any academic is very, very important. But if you don't build well, you are going to have problems in later life. Please share it to others, even share it to your enemy, so that everybody will get improved in their what they call it, discussion when it comes to education. Thank you very much. God bless you.